The last thing we will talk about in this lesson is how we use the graphical display calculator to solve a system of linear equations having three variables. The general form of this system is I have the first equation to be a1 times x plus b1 times y plus c1 times z is equal to d1. This is the first equation. The second equation is, this is the first. The second equation is a2 times x plus b2 times y plus c2 times z equals to d2. And the third equation is a3 times x plus b3 times y plus c3 times z is equal to d3. So this is my second and this is my third equation. I need three equations because I have three unknowns, the x, the y, and z. So the first thing I need to do in order to solve them, as always, we need to write equations in general form. The second thing we have to do is we need to use graphical display calculator to solve for x, y, and z. Let's see an example now. Use your graphical display calculator to solve the following system of linear equations. This is the first equation, this is the second equation, and this is the third equation. Now, in order to solve, I need to write it in these forms, ax plus by plus c, z equals to d. I have the constant on one side and all the variables at another side. So for equation 1, I need to take the minus x to the left-hand side. Equation 2 already is written well, and equation 3 is already written well. So I'll be having x plus y plus z is equal to 6. Then I have the second one, 2x minus y minus z is equal to -3. And after that, I have the 3y minus 2z is equal to 0. Now I use my graphical display calculator. So I exit again, I go to menu. I use the simultaneous equations F1, and the number of unknowns in this time is 3. Let's fill in the coefficients and the constant for the first equation. I have x plus y plus z, so all the coefficients are 1. And the constant is equal to 6. Equation number 2, the coefficient of x is 2. The coefficient of y, since it's minus y, is -1. And the coefficient of z, because it's a minus z, it's a -1. And the constant is -3. For equation 3, and here you have to focus really well. I don't have an x in the equation. Since I don't have an x, it means that the coefficient of x is 0. So if I don't have an x, I substitute instead of the coefficient of x is 0 value. So it's a 0. And I go to the next. The coefficient of y, in this case I have 3y, so it's 3. The coefficient of z is -2. And the constant is 0. And then I execute and execute again. I have the value of x to be 1, the value of y to be 2, and the value of z to be 3. So I have x to be equal to 1, I have y to be equal to 2, and I have z to be equal to 3. And by this, I could solve a system of linear equations having 3 variables using my graphical display calculator.